Continuing from the previous part, all the internal conflicts inadvertently stirred up the monsters, and now they must hold on to their lives at all costs. In the basement, Li Huick explained the plan to move to the hill on the other side to Nio. Although the chances of success were not high, if they could do it, they could move to neighboring areas without encountering monsters and have enough food. After preparing all the supplies, Dusik volunteered to stay behind to stop the monsters. Li Huick reluctantly agreed because he couldn't do anything himself since the monsters had gathered right outside Yuri and Hyen, who ran upstairs first. However, they waited for a long time and no one showed up, so Yuri decided to go back to meet everyone, despite Hyen's objections. At this moment, Seo Gap-soo appeared right behind her and revealed his desire for his woman. However, the monster transformation process had not yet been completed, so Hyen could still resist by strangling him. Of course, it was futile. Seo Gap-soo's strong desire aroused him and he pinned Hyen down to engage in a despicable act. Fortunately, Yuri arrived to save her. Outside the apartment building, Sinjun was prevented from starting the car by Payan, who had successfully escaped from the monsters. He intended to take the bus key to control it to block the monster's entrance. Obviously, Sinjun didn't like that idea, so they fought. Payan intentionally took a blow to steal the key and then threw the criminal leader out into the midst of the monsters. Seo Gap-soo was tied up, but then the naked woman appeared behind the three of them. He appeared frightened as she approached and repeatedly forced the two to shoot her. In her panic, Hyen grabbed Yuri's bow and shot the woman in the head, killing her instantly. This truth, along with Seo Gap-soo's sinister smile, drove her into madness, and she rushed forward to slit his throat. At the same time, she intended to kill Yuri. Li Huick and Nio brought the supplies upstairs and met with Huick-soo's group. However, Dusik's absence caused Hyun-soo to panic and decide to go back to find him, despite everyone's opposition and the fact that Dusik had been infected. In the basement, he found him with one side of his face burned by fire and struggling to breathe. Dusik's last words to Huick-soo were that he remembered his family and was touched by his presence at this moment. A naked man approached. He said he had been waiting for this day when his kind would rise. Unable to determine if he was human or not, Hyun-soo didn't dare to act aggressively. Seizing this opportunity, he came close and touched him, and Hyun-soo realized once again that he had fallen into an illusion. At this point, the monster inside him appeared again. He said he understood everything, that humans all have desires, and creatures like them have confined humans to the land of desire to be able to enjoy eternal happiness. However, the desire of a human is limited, and once they achieve it, they no longer have any desire. Therefore, they have evolved into a new species, one that cannot feel any emotions. The monster argued that they were not a disaster but a starting point for human evolution. Hyun-soo disagreed because he knew many people had been killed or eaten by them. However, the monster insisted that he was his inner self, the one who would save him from this world of suffering. This infuriated him, and he punched it. Just then, from the other side of the door came the voices of his family that he always longed to remember. The monster advised him to open it and go to his loved ones. But Hyun-soo knew that now was not the right time, he still had people to protect. Therefore, he returned to reality, but now, Dusik had turned into a monster and rushed to attack him. The monster within him appeared once again and advised him to merge with it. But Hyun-soo was completely sober and knew that Dusik in front of him was just a monster. Before he could attack, Payan rushed in and took him away in his place. Upstairs, Yuri managed to stop Hyen's knife and gave her a slap to snap her out of it. Just then, Seo Gap-soo had completely turned into a monster and rushed to kill Hyen. However, the downfall of the villain seemed to come late as Jisoo immediately appeared and subdued him. Li Huick's group went up, wondering about the naked girl lying there. Yuri thought she was just mentally disabled, but Hyen insisted she was a monster to justify her actions. With no time to argue, everyone began to move upstairs. Li Huick wondered why the monsters suddenly gathered in their apartment complex and recalled Jisoo's speculation that they might have done something to provoke them, such as the connection between them and the naked woman when Hyen shot her earlier. Jo Ewing on the rooftop realized his boss was dead. A flying monster appeared, attacked, and his team had to retreat because it was too powerful. At this point, the Australian management team arrived, about 15 of them. Jisoo realized the pressure on her floor, so she made the decision to split up and return to her room to lure the monsters to help everyone escape. On the top floor, Jo Win successfully defeated the flying monster. Li Huick's group also arrived. He explained his plan and hoped he could block the monsters chasing them while he set everything up. Everyone noticed Jisoo's absence but were helpless as the monsters chased them. Below, Hyun-soo's group was also running up to meet them. In her room, Jisoo found the loudspeaker for outdoor performances. She planned to use the noise to attract the monsters to her room. That way, everyone else would be safe. The plan succeeded because as soon as the sound rang out, the monsters began to move towards Jisoo's room, leaving only a few on the top floor. This made it easier for Jo-win to defeat them. However, it also made Hyun-soo realize her intention to sacrifice herself for the safety of others. Wanting to protect her caused him to harness the power of the monster, so he could arrive just in time to save her. On the top floor, everything was set up to go to the hill on the other side. However, Lee Hwick only had 3 harness handles, with 2 prioritized for Yuri, Eun, and the 2 children. The remaining harness handle was granted to Hae-in because she argued that her weak hands couldn't grip the rope. Yuri, Eun, and the 2 children successfully crossed over to the other side. When it was Hae-in's turn, as she swung across, she finally regretted her past actions and wished she could do things over again. However, it was just a fleeting illusion as a flying monster appeared and knocked her down. Before her life ended, Hae-in suddenly realized how miserable her life had been because she had always been focused on running away. With the help of Babinju, Jo-win managed to drive the flying monster away. He helped her quickly climb to the other side before the monster woke up, and she successfully reunited with everyone. Earlier, when his desire to save Jisoo became overwhelming, he once again encountered the monster within himself. When it inquired about his desire, Hyun-soo replied that he didn't want to harm humans. However, that was the instinct of the monster, so it couldn't fulfill his request. However, it stated that he could still save Jisoo because he had resisted it for so long, so he would maintain his sanity for a short while. With no other choice, Hyun-soo accepted the offer from the monster inside him and opened the door to eternal happiness. Before leaving, the monster expressed deep respect for him for his efforts all this time. On this side, Lee Hwick was also facing a similar situation as he fell into the illusion created by the monster within him. He confronted his deceased father and realized he was repeating his father's actions from the past when he deliberately lied to his younger sister about his condition and left her alone. Lee Hyun-soo's slap snapped him out of it. He handed over the leadership to him and ran off alone to find Hyun-soo. With Pyeon's help, Lee Hwick and even Jo-win arrived to assist. Hyun-soo managed to defeat all the monsters. Everyone gathered on the rooftop and wanted to leave together, whether they were infected or not. On the other hand, Shin-jun was dragged into the woods by the horde of monsters, facing a dangerous situation. He could still defeat them all thanks to his strong survival instinct. This impressive evolution of the species followed his desire to live, even if it meant existing as a monster. Shin-jun then crawled up to the rooftop and confronted everyone. With a single blow, he directly knocked Lee Min-soo away. Everyone was powerless as he was too strong against any attack. Even Jo-win, who could control the monster's power, was defeated. To save everyone, Hyun-soo fully accepted transforming into a monster. Before losing his ability to speak, he apologized to Jisoo for not being able to write lyrics for her song. But he came up with the title for it, Sweet Home. Uttering these words, he charged head-on at the monster Shin-jun and quickly killed him. Jisoo still wanted to bring him back, but Hyun-soo no longer heard her voice. At this moment, Lee Hwick stepped forward to intervene and advised them to leave, while he stayed behind with Hyun-soo. He expressed his wish to stay here to stop Hyun-soo and protect everyone. This led Lee Hwick to transform into a restraining monster to hold Hyun-soo back while Jisoo and Pyeon crossed to safety on the other side. Over time, 2 cocoons formed on the rooftop. One cracked, and Hyun-soo emerged, but now he had lost all his emotions. While wandering in the apartment building, he found Jisoo's phone playing her song. Tears welled up in his eyes as memories flooded back. Some time later, when the survivors had gathered at the military base, Jisoo, in her spare time, played the song Sweet Home she had finished writing. From afar, a figure approached as if guided by her music. Hyun-soo smiled at her with tear-filled eyes, and the story ended with Jisoo's embrace and the joyous celebration of everyone welcoming him back home. And that's the entire plot of Sweet Home. Through it, we can see the darker side of human nature. Humans themselves are the monsters within. And if you're curious about the other cocoon, stay tuned for my next summary of Shotgun Boy. Peace.